All right, Matt, you've had 11 professional fights in boxing, 8 knockouts, and your first 3.
The first few were like just a few round fights, just getting used to it again. So it's, like you're a bit scrappier, it's a bit harder, just to come out and knock people
11
out.
fights,
Get the rounds
undefeated,
out.
excellent record. And when's your next fight?
I'm fighting on the 29th of this month.
The 29th of this month?
Yeah.
Whereabouts you fighting?
In Thailand, but you'll be able to watch it on YouTube.
And who are you fighting?
I can't remember his name. But yeah.
Thai name, Thai guy.
He's a Thai bloke. They got me a couple of tough
man.
ties. They've got a couple of tough ties. It's just to help me get ready for the Frenchman.
For the Frenchman?
The Frenchman.
Who's the Frenchman?
His name's Bilal. He's ranked number 11 in the world. So I am... we're negotiating. I'm very hopeful that.
So you're going to fight in France or are you going to fight here?
We're trying to make it happen in Australia. We're just it's a lot of negotiations and all that sort of stuff.
He wants you to go over there, or?
I think he actually would rather come to Australia. I think it's better for everyone. So, I mean, it could be. I even spoke to someone in Holland, so we'll see what happens. We're just in the negotiations, but it'll put me top 10 in the world, so it's what I want.
Excellent.
Close to that world title fight.
Which one of those 11 fights you reckon that was the toughest fight on your hands?
Oh, no, toughest. I feel like they're all different, man. You can't. It's hard to answer. But the toughest, the one that I got probably, more, would be the Australasian title in Queensland. Would probably be the toughest.
Actually, yeah, I remember that fight. That went to distance.
Yeah.
That was the only one that went to distance, actually.
The only one, yeah.
And you managed to. You knock him out too quick, Matt. You gotta.
Well, that one I didn't fight how I should have, and it was just like I wasn't. It was different emotions and things like that. So, but yeah.
How did it feel going a distance to the first fight, first time?
It was just the fights you don't really remember, man. It's very strange every time you get in a fight out there on the street or do whatever, you remember everything. But these fights, in the ring, they're just different. It's different feeling, different way. When I did, when you fight on the street and, grabbing fucking pedophiles and that, man, it's just so much easier. I'll come across, 10 people on the street and I'm fine, I'm calm and everything. But in the ring, you got a lot more emotions. You got, ego, embarrassment, shame. You got, a bunch of stuff going on. It's just different. It's very strange.
You get nervous, Matt, before a fight?
No. People ask me, are you nervous for the fight? And I always say, no, I don't care. I'm going to destroy this bloke. And I genuinely feel that way up until the day of the fight. And then, I guess it's nerves. I'm not calm. It's different emotions. I don't like calling it nerves because it's different, when you get nervous before, an answer from someone or nervous before, like a basketball game. It's different sort of nerves. So it's not the right... I'm trying to find a word for it. I can't find a word for how it feels.
Little anxious, little
It's
edgy.
a bunch of everything, man. And you got a lot of... even PTSD. You got a lot of things going on, like you got the commission, you got the people against you. It's like people that grow up in sporting families, that AFL, whatever, they've always got, they've always got the footy club, the community. They've always got people behind them. They've got a family, they've got a father, they've got someone behind them, backing them. They've got good people. With me, I come from, growing up on the streets pretty much, from the crim side of things. So where I come from, even from the crim world, gangster world, whatever you want to call it, apart from the leaders and the top, and there's a few people that genuinely care, and I want most people from that side of things that get to there, unfortunately, from prison and that, unfortunately, not most of them are very jealous, upset, angry sort of people who want to see the worst, So I haven't got much back, and I feel like everyone's against me,
Because there's always a lot of...
There always is that, but I feel like the world I come from, I don't have any support. I don't have a football, I don't have a club or a family or a fucking community around me or a bunch of good people, but I feel like I'm up against not everyone, you got your fighters that have like a small people around them and everyone that might, be against them. But then for me, I feel like the whole world's against me, you know. So it's like a lot of PTSD.
Why is that, Matt? You've helped. I know that you've helped a lot of people out, and you've got a fucking good heart, and you always step in when you can and do what you can. Yeah. Why do you think? Is it because you isolated yourself, or you disconnected yourself?
I'm not really sure, man. Yeah, maybe. I feel like I've got maybe I've got too too many people around me, and I haven't got like a couple of like some I think I'm too with speak to everyone, know everyone, so I'm not maybe I haven't been I'm not really sure.
How do you prepare for a fight generally? What's your routine that you go through mentally, physically?
How do I prepare for a fight? Mentally, so I'm trying to do different things now as it's getting more serious. I'm trying to do more meditation and like self work and things like that. In the meantime, I train every day. I know I do probably harder cardio than anyone, and I do that on purpose because I like I want to be fitter than everyone. I do things to be stronger. I do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of saunas and ice baths, and always push myself for anything. If someone does an ice bath for 10 minutes, I'll do it for 15. I always set little mini goals. If I don't have a mini goal or something to beat in front of me, I probably won't do it. So I have to set up things.
Is there a specific routing though that you actually you go through every fight?
I need to get a proper routine. But in the I wing it a lot because I haven't got too much help because everyone's all over the place, and I'm pretty, like you said, stubborn. I do a lot on my own, so I do so I'll do my cardio every day or every second day, and then I do all my boxing in the afternoon, and then I don't get in Australia. A lot of people have this problem, especially in WA. I don't get any good sparring, so I just take any sparring I can get. So if someone messages me on a Wednesday and says I can spar it tonight, I won't do any training that morning, because I'll just jump on that,
There aren't many light heavy
I've
in WA.
Right now I've only got a heavyweight that I can spar in Perth. I've got 9 in my weight that I can spar, let alone will spar me. Not at the high level. I mean, anyone can jump in and spar me, and I can muck around with them. But when I'm getting ready for fights and I need to fight 80-90% in there, there's no one that's going to spar me from Perth anyway. There's a couple. There's one heavyweight at the moment. I've got another mate who's a pretty well-known big fighter, but he's hard to get a hold of, which isn't his fault. So it's very tough. There's a few months ago I had to pay someone from another state to come over and stay with me for a few weeks just to get sparring, which is pretty shit house when, I'm doing everything, on my own. It's just pretty, I haven't really got much help.
And how far you reckon you want to take this all the way?
Oh, yeah. No, anyone, if there's a few people that do it just so they can save a couple of fights. I think that's just a fucking waste of money and time. I definitely won't ever forgive myself if I don't fucking go all the way, or at least have that shot, So I definitely, and I will go all the way, and I will be there, like 100%, unless, these people that keep trying to stop me, unless they get in my way. But normally I overcome it all, and I will overcome this too.
Where do you do most of your training in Perth? In your gym, Pinkies?
No, at Pinkies I get hammered, so everyone, will talk to me there, which is great. I love talking to people, but my cardio and some of my training is very hectic hard where, I have to do it because, I hate the fucking cardio. No one fucking would, if people are lying if they say they enjoy the cardio, that it's fucking horrible. I fucking hate it. So I need to get out of the way. So I go to other gyms to do that sort of stuff, like the cardio, or if I need to do shit on the bag, like hard work, I'll do it at other gyms. But I do all my sparring at my gym, and I might do a bit of pad work at my gym. But I probably train, more at other gyms than I do my own gym.
What bad habits do you reckon you got,
heaps,
Matty, that you want to get rid of?
Pat Quality is the tall guy. But yeah, bad habits.
Bad habits that get in the way of your training and your mindset that you would get rid of.
Chris Nikolov He's a bad habit. He always wants me to come drink with him.
Chris Nikoloff. All right, we'll leave that one to later.
Yeah.
Right? But what bad habits you reckon
Bad
that
habits.
you could change?
Oh, my diet
That
for
was-
sure. My
Your
sleep,
diet?
my sleep for sure. My diet, and yeah.
You don't get enough rest.
Oh, I barely sleep, and my diet, and
What do you reckon? That's probably because your diet is shit.
yeah,
You'd struggle sleeping. Yeah,
maybe, yeah, probably, and
because you
and a lot of things,
yeah.
and so yeah, diet, sleep. Yeah, like I live off. I don't use any drugs. I don't really even drink, but I live off sleeping tablets, you know, and I take all sorts of shit for sleep. You know,
Sleeping tablets, fucked.
Diazepams, Valiums, fucking everything. You know, all sorts of shit.
Fuck, don't you feel groggy the next day when
No,
you
because
fucking
I
take
don't.
this shit?
I don't, man. So yeah, so the third bad habit would be getting off all prescription medication, which I'm prescribed. I get it prescribed from the doctor. So yeah, all that stuff, anything like that, really. And then
Man,
yeah.
I remember I've seen you 2 weeks out from a fucking fight. The one before the Gold Coast fight. And you were getting stuck into pizzas and fucking you walking around with a can of Coke.
Love it. You know, it's not the worst bad habit because I'm getting away with it. And until I don't get away with it anymore, I'll probably fix it up. And if I'm fighting, you know, like people in the top 10 after, you know, the French mood, or even for the French guy, I'll probably listen. I've got sport doctors and food doctors and all that, and I'll probably, you know.
But you just
do
don't
it
give
all.
a
I
fuck.
have
You
to.
just don't
No, I
listen to
will.
the advice.
I think I will. I think I should. So yeah, we'll get there.
You know who remind me of? What's his name? That UFC fucking animal. Tuya. When he came out here, he's a fucking wild motherfucker, this guy.
Yeah.
He's just a brawler from Sydney. Hardcore. He just goes out, drinks, does whatever, and fucking gets in the ring and just belts people to death.
What was his was he a boxer tour?
Tuya.
Tour,
Yeah.
I don't follow so much of
UFC?
yeah, UFC. I got I follow like there were Australian, like a couple of Australians.
Yeah.
Like because there's one that used to come to my gym and help me get ready for fights and that. I'd spar him and his brother.
You gonna stick to boxing, you reckon, or
Yeah.
you want to try something different?
Man, I like this. I like the way because I fight. Like the way I fight. If you watch me fight, people will say I'll be a great bare knuckle fighter, especially from the street, probably. So sometimes when you see me boxing, you know I do a bit. You can see a bit of the street in me, and which helps. You know, my awkwardness is like white people. People can't work me out. You know, and so bare knuckle fighting, I think I'll do really well at. You know, that's something I'll definitely look at if I don't make it in boxing. But right now it's just boxing because I believe I'm going to make it. You know, so but if I've had that thought bare knuckle and and you know who knows, you know if I make it in boxing and then you know they do all the crossover stuff, if someone offered me something good for MMA or something, I'd probably jump in there.
Because you've done a bit of kickboxing before as well, but you've never really. Have you had any fights in kickboxing or just?
At the start, I used to enter like stuff, and there was like I even entered a it was like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu like a competition where it was back then it was just on the mats in Joondalup. When I was younger, I used to you know I'd fight anyone, enter anything back then. And then I went to prison. So yeah, I did a lot back then, and then when I got out, then I wanted to box professionally because I thought that's what I was best at. And then went to prison again, and then did the boxing. When I got out,
What did you go to prison?
why did I go to prison?
Yeah.
For the pedophile.
Yeah.
So do you want me to tell you what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. So, you know, I said earlier, well, you know, me and the group of boys were, you know, kidnapping, actually, back then, right? So back then, you know how everyone's doing it now? They get the pedophiles and they set them up and they take the videos and all that. We didn't do that. So I thought we had this guy that was good with computers back then, and he made up this like kid, like pretended it was like a girl or whatever. because so people would come, because of who I was at the time, people would come to me and be like, fucking this and that. People knew I had interest in this stuff. And obviously you can't believe, every, woman or whoever comes in telling you a story. So would find out the facts, would make sure it's real, and then would get this person, pretend they were a kid, and they would lure the pedophile out somewhere. So they'd be talking for a while, would make sure, like send messages, would make sure this cunt's a fucking pedo, and then would get them, however, wherever it was, wherever they were meeting, they thought they were meeting the kid, would grab them, and I'd do what I'd think of great fucking things. Because my thing is earlier, like I said, they don't get enough punishment, time, justice. So I think these kids that they scare the fucking life out of them, I think the best we can do with them is scare the life out of them. And I think that's the closest thing we're going to get to justice. So I would, you'd make, say for example, and you could maybe make them, they would be out in the bush and they'd start digging their own grave, and you might, if you wanted to, they might have their head sticking out, and you might get cars and your mates with your bikes to start, riding over them, but not actually hitting them. They actually think they're going to die every single time. You're like, whoa, you start going off at them. What the fuck? You fucking missed them. You act like he accidentally missed him, and you could do it again. So every fucking time this cunt thinks he's going to die, you don't actually kill him, obviously. And then you fucking, things like that. So I'll get done for Dep Lib and an OBH. The OBH was like me just punching him from trying to run off. Like I'm talking like bruises. Like I barely even hit this cunt. And I get 5.5 years. Coppers intervened, obviously. I get done for kidnapping. And
But you didn't kidnap the guy.
Well, they're saying it's kidnapping because I don't let him leave the room. So it's Dep Lib. So if you're sitting there and I'm by the door and you try to get out the room, I don't let you go. That's a Dep Lib straight away.
Yep.
So that's what happened. So it's Dep Lib, 5.5, and he got 10 months instead of fucking. He would have only got a couple of years anyway for raping the girl, but he got 10 months.
So 5.5 years, Matt.
Yeah.
When did you get out?
I got out when I was in 2018, end of 2018. So I was 29.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Okay.
28.
Were you boxing in there?
Yeah, every day, man. I had a great person in there. Fucking, he used to be a leader of another club, and he fucking was a good trainer. Great, he's trained world champions. So I was very lucky because you don't meet too many fucking actual fighters in prison.
Did you have any fights
Let
before
alone
you
a
went
trainer
in?
like that,
So did you have any
Not
fights
boxing.
before you went in?
Not boxing.
No.
No, not boxing.
So
Yes,
when was your first fight,
mate? So when I got out, I wanted to fight straight away, and then the boxing commission in Perth, who half of them were my fucking mates at the time, they wouldn't let me fight for going to prison for bashing a pedophile, and I'm like, you just let pedophiles fight because they do. I know they do. This guy admitted he was on pedophile charges, and they let him still fight, but they won't let me fight because it's violence. What I did, because I went to prison for bashing a pedophile.
So you couldn't. So when
So
did
it took
you
me
get your
about
first
3
fight?
years. It took me about 3 years fighting him, and I had people like Danny Green's a big name in the sport, and his trainer, and I had big names, fucking supporting me, and they didn't care. And for about 3 years, They finally let me fight, and I went to Queensland. I went to Queensland. My friend Angelo Hyder, who looks after all my boxing, he got me an expedition. He wanted me to have an expedition, 1 or 2 of them first. I was like, man, I'm ready to do all the training I've done, all the fights I had when I was younger in other sports, and so I went to expedition, and then I went straight pro because I didn't want to fuck around,
What year was that?
Like it took me a couple of years, so like 2021. 2020.
Right.
Yeah. I would have had 50 fights since then, but they've stopped me from fighting again, as you know. So I fought, had all my fights, won the state title, and then all my other shit went down. This stuff now that I'm going through now. From a couple of years ago.
And then they put a stop on you again.
So they put a stop on me now. I can't fight in Perth right now, but I can fight in every other fucking state and every other country in the world. But anyway.
Crazy fucking shit.
And that's all because of who I was 10 years ago too.
All right, so the 29th, are you ready for the 29th? That's like in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So I've been getting ready on training and all that.
You're off the pizza and the lollies
No.
and the
I won't get off that till 5 days before the fight or something. 3 days maybe, depending on my weight.
Unbelievable. Just all fucking mindset.
But they say all the carbs are pretty good for you as well, so.
Nah, I don't know about this kind of carbs that you eat, man.
Yeah.
You smashed a pizza only fucking 2 nights ago, didn't you? You're walking out of the gym. I just got there and was doing a training session, and you're walking out with a box of pizza and a can of Coke.
Yeah, and there was a few other things. And couple pizzas, couple pastas.
So one week
that would have been like my 5th can of Coke at that stage.
So you do 1 week, like hard prep.
So like I fight at 79 kilos, right, and I walk around fucking 90 kilos, and I lose all that in 5 or 6 days before the fight. I lose about 4 or 5 kilos.
How do you lose it so quick
on the day?
What do you do?
Well, it's mainly just fucking. I think I'm just very lucky. I think other people can cut weight well too, rarely, and I'm just lucky, man. I'm lucky I can lose 12 kilos in that time. People don't even believe it until they see it, but it happens. And I mean, on the day, I wake up at like 84, I think. So I lose 5 kilos in the hot bath. So, a lot of it's probably water. By the time I fight, I'm fucking 90, 92 kilos again. So it's just lucky I've got an advantage. Like,
so what do you reckon? You're going to get a knockout this fight in 2 weeks?
I'm not going for knockouts, man. I'm just going to get rounds out because I want to be as ready as I can be. Everyone has their own training camp. Like, for this Frenchman, other people might fucking just train 3 or 4 months for it. This is what I want to do for me mentally. I'm going there, I'm training, I'm having a couple fights against a couple top blokes. I'm going to
actually check him out. He looks like a fucking tough kid,
The Frenchman?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be right. No one's going to beat me, so it's, I'll do whatever I have to in the ring.
Yeah, I know that. Right. I know that. All right, Matty. So you're leaving this Saturday?
Yep.
And you're staying boot camp, getting ready?
So I'll just stay near the Ambassador, which is the gym there. So I'll just stay next to there and train there.
Who does your food prep and all of that?
I've got people that tell me what to eat and that. I could get someone to do that, but I just do it myself. And that there is no food prep really. It's just like it's pretty simple, man. Like eat, like when you're this close, normally you stop taking. You have salts and that, and you stop all that 3 days before. You might water load. So you might have like 5 litres of water, then have it 3, and then on the day have no water, and then there's few little things you can do. The diet side of things is like pretty much steak or salmon and chicken. Chicken, they like eat chicken thigh. They like eating more fatty stuff. The chicken thigh, you don't put any extra stuff on it. Like up until a week before the fight, you might be able to put salt on it, but it has to be like you have to get it from the shop, cook it yourself. So that way it's not, if you go to restaurants, you don't know what they're putting in it. So you get it yourself, untouched, and you just do it yourself. And it's 200 grams, I think, of chicken. I think up until a week before, I think you can have either white rice, spaghetti, whatever it is they tell you. Veggies. You can't have veggies up 3 days before because too much fucking water and stuff. And then up to, so there's this. So it's steak, meat, salmon, lunch and dinner. And breakfast you can have, I can't remember, like eggs and fucking whatever.
That's good. You got the right help anyway.
So I know what's going on. I'm just fucking lazy.
Well, Matty, let's.
I might change it. Fucking a couple eggs with a few bars of chocolate. Just things like that. It's all right.
Bad influence. Now, on closing, Matt, what advice would you give to youngsters who are just starting out in boxing?
Advice is just stick with it, man. Like people hate boxing at the start because of the footwork and like the drills and stuff you do at the start. You feel like you're not getting anywhere, and it's very awkward. Like boxing, it's like little babies when you see them walking for the first time. They're very awkward and everything, and they should be because they're and the same with boxing. And people always ask, "Am I doing this right?" and blah blah. And it should look really awkward. If it doesn't feel awkward, you're not doing it properly. So it should feel really, and you just got to get through that stage. People, especially teenagers, I know myself, it would have been, because of my ADD and the way I am, it's very hard. I kept changing gyms and things because I just couldn't get it. With me, I master things. Like Bruce Lee said, don't fear the man who, Bruce Lee said, don't fear the man at the gym trying to do 10,000 different things. Fear the man that's trying to do 10,000 things once.
Yep.
And I'm always been like that without realising it. So I will try, like you say, it's a jab. I'll practice the jab 10,000 times that week, and I can't do anything else. You try to give me too many things, it's too hard for the way I am. But if I do that, I'll master it, and that's how I am. So I remember as a kid, it was very hard for me. So I always stress at the beginning of especially the trouble teenagers training, because I really want them to keep coming, because I know that they get past that, say, first 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever, of boring stuff, because it is quite boring. They start feeling good. Once you start hitting the bag and you start hitting good and you start feeling, different sorts of, power or whatever, speed, you start loving it and spar and you get better. But it's very hard to start getting better early, and it's very awkward and uncomfortable. So, that's the best advice I'll give to people, saying just get through it. Just get through it and you'll be all right.
Excellent, Matty. Fucking awesome chatting with you, brother. And good luck for the 29th. And we'll have you on again after the fight.
Yes, my brother.
See you, bro.
Thank you, brother.